Hello and welcome to the Run Testers. My name's Nick. In this video we're going to be comparing the Puma Velocity Nitro 2 and the Reebok Floatride Energy 4, two of the top value running shoes on the market. This video is brought to you in partnership with Precision Fueling Hydration, and as the weather's getting a little bit warmer in the UK, a little bit warmer, it was a good time to talk about staying hydrated on the run. Obviously this means more than just glugging down water. You need to think about your electrolyte intake as well, and specifically sodium, which is the key electrolyte lost in sweat. People sweat at different rates, and the amount of sweat or sodium lost by different people can vary by up to 15 times. So you really need to know your numbers and find out if you're a salty sweater to make sure you're getting the right hydration for your runs. Precision Fueling Hydration have been conducting advanced sweat tests on people for many years, and they've used this information to create an online sweat test that you can take to give you a picture of how much you sweat and get personalised hydration advice. Go check that out, and if you are going to shop the Precision Fueling Hydration range, you can use the code RT15 to get 15% off the entire range. We'll check a link in the comment below to the online sweat test and with more details on the code as well. So like I say, almost the key stat for these shoes is really the price. The Puma Velocity Nitro is £100 in the UK, whereas the Reebok is £75. Whereas in the US, the Floatride Energy 4 is $110, and the Puma is $120. The Puma has a 10mm drop from heel to toe. It's the heavier of the two shoes. It weighs 271 grams, which is 9.55 ounces, whereas the Reebok is 250 grams, or 8.8 ounces. Both of those are in my UK size 9. Comes to the drop on the Reebok, it's got a 9mm drop. Now the weight on the Floatride Energy 4 is a key talking point away because it's dropped considerably from the previous version, and that's really down to the upper changes Reebok has made here. This is their speed shift material. It's a bit thinner and more breathable all round. They've taken some of the padding off the tongue and in general just stripped back the whole upper on the shoe to make the shoe lighter, but it hasn't really sacrificed anything in terms of either hold or comfort, I found during my testing. So yeah, it's a really good upper update that just actually changes the ride of the shoe quite considerably, even though the actual midsole is the same as on the previous version. You've got a Floatride Energy foam. It's a fairly firm but not uncomfortable or harsh foam. It offers a good amount of protection, a little bit of bounce, and it's reasonably lightweight. And then on the outsole, you've got carbon rubber with almost mini lugs around the forefoot and running down the side here. It's a good, durable outsole that has gripped well for me in any conditions I've tested the shoe in so far. So the Puma has got a mesh upper, and compared to the original, it's got a little bit more plush. There's really a lot of cushioning around the heel here on the tongue. Even these laces are very spongy and thick. You see it's a bit more cushion and plush in that area compared to the Reebok. And in general, the upper is just a bit thicker and a bit more comfortable, but also it gets a bit more warm. And it's probably one of the reasons why the shoe's a little bit heavier than on the Reebok. In the midsole, you've got two kinds of foams. So you've got Puma's Nitro foam on top, which is a nitrogen infused foam. It's soft, squishy, bouncy. It's it's really impressive foam, and then you've got a layer of EVA underneath, which makes sure the ride's not too squishy and unstable, and it beefs up the durability of the shoe a little bit. The original version of the Nitro had a plastic little clip at the back here. That's gone on the second version, and with extra Nitro foam at the heel as well, creates generally a softer feeling, especially if you're a heel striker when you're running in the shoe. The outsole is made of Puma grip, which is just fantastic. It's durable, gripped really well across a range of conditions. You can use this on light trails as well. Yeah, it's a really good outsole. It's lasted very well for me on the original shoe, and I expect that to be the same on the new shoe with no signs of wear in my testing so far. So in terms of the fit, I found that the Velocity Nitro was true to size. It's got, it's quite long at the front, but in a good way for me. It's not too much room. I was very happy in my normal size, and it's got good hold around the heel and midfoot on the shoe. Whereas the Reebok, in the previous version of the Floatride Energy, I went half a size down, almost by accident, and it fit perfectly. And now in my normal size, in the newest version, I've probably got slightly too much room up front. I've had no real problems on the run. I actually think it's fine going completely true to size, but if you're someone like me who's in between two sizes, maybe opt for the lower half size of the two. So I've been using and enjoying both of these shoes in my training lately, and logged a little mix of runs in them, doing some easy stuff, bit of steady running, and also some speed work to see how versatile they are as daily trainers. And broadly, both are great. I'm a really big fan of both of these shoes. I think a lot of the difference between them comes down to what you want in terms of ride feel. The Reebok is lighter on the foot, has a snappier transition and a slightly more traditional ride all round, I'll say that. Like, it's got a bit more structure in the upper, it's a bit firmer, a little bit more stable as well. And it's, you know, it's a little bit lighter, which does help when you're using it for things like, I used it on a hill rep session, doing kind of 3-minute hill reps, and, you know, having a lighter shoe on your foot is always beneficial when you're charging up a hill. But even on easy runs, like, it's still comfortable, and having a lighter shoe on the foot, and it's just a nice feeling. You know, just keeps your legs ticking over, and when they're tired and heavy. The only real question I had with the Reebok was basically whether it wouldn't be as cushy and comfortable as I like for kind of all-out easy and recovery runs, but I haven't found that to be the case. I took out for an early morning recovery run the day after a hard track session, and yeah, it felt great on the legs. Like, there is a good amount of protection there. This foam deadens the impacts kind of the road and gives a little bit back in terms of bounce. It's not super squishy and comfortable or anything like that, but you get a nice balance of protection and road feel with this shoe, I'd say. Then the Puma has a softer, kind of less structured ride, and I think it is going to be a less stable shoe for those who are concerned about that. But also there's definitely more bounce in the foam, especially in this top layer of this Nitro foam, and it's just creates such a joyous, fantastic ride. I really do like the ride on the Velocity Nitro. Like, I have my training log, and in every run I kind of do, you know, the RPE stuff where I log how hard it was out of 10, but I also give it like a little smiley face rating to see how I found it. Consistently, the Velocity Nitro turns in big, happy, smiley faces, just because I really like the way it feels underfoot at both kind of easy and fast paces. So on an hour's easy to steady run in my local forest, I think it really showed off the benefits of the shoe all round, because I started with just easy cruising through the forest, you know, great grip, no concerns on that front, on like kind of fairly light trails. And it's just got a nice soft feeling when you're kind of mooching along easy. And as the pace started to tick up throughout the run and I went onto the road, you start to feel a bit more bounce from the foam, and you just realise that actually it can handle the pace. Like, as you get faster, the shoe's just going to go with you. Like, it is heavier than the Reebok, but it doesn't really feel heavier on the foot. Like, it feels a bit more cruisy at slower paces, and part of that is the warmer, kind of thicker upper, which makes it feel like you're in a much more cushioned shoe. But actually, you know, it's 20 grams odd heavier, but it just doesn't feel like that when you start pushing the pace, because you are getting a bit more back from this foam. I took it out for quite a tough fartlek session, running 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 minute reps, kind of 2 sets of that, and it was a really hard week. Like, I'd raced on the Sunday, and this was like the kind of Wednesday session or something like that, and I went into it just going, I'm running this purely on feel. I'm going to make a good effort here, aiming for around kind of 10k level effort, and just surprised that the shoe turned in kind of 10k level pace, really, like out in training by myself, and it's just fast. You know, I was running sub 320 per k pace throughout all the reps on that session, and I got stronger throughout, just because you're getting protection, you know, for the legs from this shoe, and then getting that pace out of it on the other side. So even though I don't think either of these shoes are all-out speedsters, like, they're daily trainers that will handle all your easy, steady, tempo running, you know, they can do the speed work, but if you're someone like myself who has a shoe rotation and is very concerned about making sure you nail your speed sessions, I'd want a speedier shoe alongside these to do my kind of track reps and stuff like that in. But at the same time, if you're someone who's maybe a little bit less obsessive and is happy kind of with a 1 or 2 shoe rotation, these will cover off all your training very well. Just do it in a slightly different way. Like I say, I think the Puma's softer, bouncier, maybe slightly more modern ride in a way, and then the Reebok is lighter, snappier, slightly more traditional, and a bit more kind of stable. So the verdict here is that whichever way you go, if you're looking at these two shoes, you're going to get a good shoe. They're both really fantastic value, they're versatile, they're comfortable, they're pretty quick, they're just fun to run in at all times, and I think, you know, they kill off a lot of the kind of daily training market for me, you know, which often comes in like 140, 150 pounds, and those prices just seem a bit silly when you put them up against these shoes, because these aren't just better value, they're better shoes than most of those kind of 140, 150 pound shoes. And I think you can use them as all-rounder shoes, but generally I think they're happiest in a shoe rotation. You could use them in a 2-shoe rotation with one fast shoe that you use for very hard speed workouts and you're racing, or you could use them in a 3-shoe rotation with a fast trainer and a racer, and let these handle the bulk of your work. But however you're planning on using them, I think it is definitely worth considering one or both of these shoes for your rotation. Probably not both, but at the same time, why not both? They're fun. I'd say a lot of it will come down to ride feel. So the Reebok is cheaper, and that's also important. It's £25 cheaper, though with sales and discounts, the prices of both these shoes will likely drop at various points throughout the year. Like I say, it's a bit more stable, more structure in the upper, a cooler upper as well. Like if you're in a very hot country, this Puma cushioning on the back here might start to get you a little bit too hot. And a kind of more stable, traditional snappy ride compared to the bouncy, soft, very fun and very much to my taste ride of the Velocity Nitro 2. But yeah, if you're worried about stability, you're losing it here, especially compared even to the first version of the shoe, thanks to the extra kind of nitro foam at the back there. And yeah, and you're just getting a bit more bounce out of this, I'd say, especially when you're pushing the pace hard. Like, think generally, if there was one thing I would consider, like, I'm about to go into a block of marathon training this summer, and this would definitely be my preference for that, just because the way I love pulling it on. I always want to pull on the Velocity Nitro 2 for kind of long, easy to steady runs. It just makes me smile to use it, and when you start pushing the mileage, unless you, this is a shoe that's going to really eat it up very nicely, I'd say. Whereas the Reebok, I think it probably will do it. I think I have enjoyed it on recovery runs, easy runs, but just going on gut feeling, when I'm going out the door for an early morning recovery run or an hour's easy to steady at lunch, I will always want to pull on this shoe over pretty much everything, and that it does include the Reebok. So yeah, overall, both cracking shoes. Maybe look at the softer, bouncier Puma if that's your kind of preference, especially if you're looking at a shoe that can handle light trails thanks to that excellent outsole. If you want a more stable, traditional ride, the Reebok is there, and it's £25 cheaper, so that also might be something to consider. That's it, guys. That is our comparison of the Puma Velocity Nitro 2 and the Reebok Floatride Energy 4. I always forget to say this at the start of videos, but yeah, I'm sorry if you don't like the fact I've called it Puma. We call it Puma in the UK, not Puma, but that's the way it is. Please like, subscribe, ring the little bell. Do go and check out our long precision hydration video on how to hydrate in your runs. We've got a lot of good expert advice in that to help you kind of work out how to make sure you're not sweating out too much sodium without replacing it on the run. And yeah, check out the links below to do that online sweat test and see if you're a salty sweater and find out more details on what you need to keep yourself running happily. That's it. We'll see you next time.